were saying about that little shed down here you lived in.
So when I was 6th, 7th grade, my dad bought a little garden shed that was plywood, and he was going to use it for a chicken house. And then with all the chicken poop on it, it started rotting the floor. So he kicked the chickens out, and he built a real chicken house, and he gave the chicken house to me, the little shed. And then he built a skid on it so he could suck it up onto his bed truck. And then he dropped it off up here, and this is where I lived. I was 6th, 7th, 8th grade in the summertime. So my brother built an outhouse and a lean-to and a shower system, believe it or not. And I had hot water at night to take a shower. And my brother would check on me when he would check wells.
What'd you do all day?
I covered all of this land looking for dinosaurs and dinosaur bones, different stuff. And found lots of little honey holes to look for dinosaurs. And lots of dumps, actually, for garbage dumps from the pioneers when they would come through. They would drop their trash off. And so I'd find old log cabin tins with maple syrup. I'd find a ton of those that must have been really cheap. There was a ton of that. And I'd every once in a while come across toys, steel toys, trucks, and stuff like that. So would look for all over for that, and then look for arrowheads and different stuff like that. And a wagon train had come through here a long time ago, and there they would stop and get fresh water. So it was always kind of fun to go down there and see all their camps and different stuff where they were. And I had an old hammock that I put in the old snag cedar tree, and you had to crawl through the tree to get into it, but once you got into it, you were over top of a great big open draw. So once you got in there, you had, if you fell, you were going to fall right
A long
ways out.
ways. That's awesome. That would have been cool. So we're driving around looking for our dinosaur stuff, but we're checking water too, because they have cattle out here on the ranch, and they have to check the water, make sure it's pumping right and flowing. But this is one way that pumps. The last place we went to was a solar station, and it pumps out of the well. It's an electrical setup, and then it pumps water into the holding tanks. This one is a windmill. So when the wind's blowing, it gets that assembly cranking up there, and then it pulls that rod up and down, and it pumps the water. So you can see that rod pumping. There's the well. It's just pumping that water up and sending it through that pipe. But it's all run by that windmill. Pretty cool. You see these all over out here. There's one on the horizon.
So this is the trackway. So it's not very big. This tracks start here and go there, but you have all these animals walking around, hanging out all in the same place. So when they first found it, this hill here had come up to where all the dark rock is. The rest of it was all covered up yet. But they found them, a deer hunter found them. He was hunting a deer through here, came across it. Went back and told my dad he found dinosaur prints, and my dad said he was crazy. There's no such thing. So then my dad came and looked at it, sure enough, and we had Martin Lockley come and identify over 100 different tracks through this whole trackway here.
Really?
So we have herbivores and carnivores living together, perfect world. So the first one was a Struthia mimus. And so you have a toe here, a toe here, and a toe here. So he was walking along there.
Three-toed track.
Yep. And then you got another one here. Kind of slipped in the mud there.
Where are the three toes?
There's one there, and there was one over there. So you got there.
I stepping on stuff I shouldn't.
And then you got this one up here. You got toe, toe, toe. This is the back of his foot. Then you walked up here. toe in the back of his foot. So he was just kind of walking this way.
Along. This is all the same track, huh?
Yep. He's
That's
a Strithy
pretty
Mammoth,
cool.
so we can get stride. So he was just kind of walking along. He wasn't too excited. So then you came over here, and then you have all the algae. So all this was water at the time. So you have all this algae growing up on it.
It's just texture in the rock, huh?
Yep. And so here is
Almost looks like skin.
Yep. Yeah, when they first found it, they thought that's what it was. It was a dinosaur skin. But here's a toe here, a toe here, and a toe here. And this is a juvenile T-Rex.
Juvenile T-Rex. That's a big footprint.
So all these lines in here are from his claws. So when he stepped out, he flicked his claws out.
Hmm.
And then he had a crocodile coming out of the water. So he was coming out of the water. So the crocodile came here. Here's a footprint here. These are claw marks.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a foot here. So he came in, and this right here is where he swished his tail when he pushed off.
Wow, you can actually see the swish there.
Yep.
Dragged his tail up and swished it over there.
So then he shot out. Then after he shot out, we had this great big one came out. And this one here is a duckbill. So you have a toe, and a toe in the back of his foot. And so when this one came out, it drug his toenail for some reason. Drug his toenail coming out of the water. And at this time, the mud on here was tacky. It was just kind of drying up. So when he came out and pressed his foot down, he was so heavy he made all these cracks in the mud all around.
That's pretty awesome.
And then right in here, you can see the pad of his foot. All through here. That's it. So he walked out of here and then walked up here. So after the crocodile went through, there's the back of the foot, and there's a toe, there's a toe, there's a toe. So he walked out and crocodile came through, and then the duckbill came on top, and monosaurus. So then you see all these lines all through here. These are all T-Rex. So he was kind of antsy, walking back and forth. Here's a T-Rex print here. There's a toe, the back of his foot, a toe, and a toe. So his foot was that big.
Jeez.
So he was just kind of walking through. And then this here was where these little light colors were in a mud hole. When it starts to dry up, the mud starts to curl up.
Mm-hmm.
And something really heavy pushed them dried curls into the wet mud. So all these have been pushed down into there. So they don't know if something laid down and pushed all of them in there or what, they don't know.
All those. Something laid there or stepped there.
Yep. And the coolest ones that I like are the ones that are named after our family, the Sorxalicus serpstai. So when they first found him, they found this one here. So there's a toe, dew claw going out. And then they found this one over here, but the dew claw was going the same way. And there was a toe here. This is the one that someone tried to come out and chip out, take with them. But the dew claws were both going the same way, so they figured out it had to be two different animals. So they looked back and they found a dew claw here, and then a toe. And then they lifted up this shelf here, and then they found this here, and a toe, and the pad of the foot, and then just part of it. So they rebuilt this part here so they can recreate the whole trackway. So you had two of them walking side by side. Here's where all these snail holes, all these oysters, snails, all lived here in the mud. And then you can see all the algae.
That's too bad somebody came out and ruined that.
I know. Yeah, these are the only ones in the world.
Of this kind?
Yep.
Only tracks, and somebody came and tried to steal one.
Try to steal it. But this same goes all the way back underneath there, so it's hard to say what we have underneath there. We can't really preserve them anyway because what gets us is the heat and the freezing.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's really no way to keep them. So we just have to let them go and hope we find more that are underneath. It was layered. They all came in. And then they have...
Are there more tracks up in here, or is...
Yeah, they get really hard to see. They there's different tracks. I mean, there's over 100 different tracks through the whole trackway.
Is this one, this little...
Yep, that's a bird print. Yep. You got a little toes in there. They didn't really think that they had that many different birds at that time period. We're late Cretaceous, 67 million years. So we kind of changed it a little bit, that we had all these birds flocking all through here. They have, this is my, these prints here are from my dad when he was digging out the trackway. And he got a little bit too close to the track, so he left his own prints.
From his tractor?
Yep.
His backhoe scraped that
Yep.
out, those 3 teeth or something.
And then we got the little baby footprint here of a bird. So then with any tracks you have positive and negatives. So then we have some up here. And then the other side of it. So you can see
Oh yeah, so
sticking
that's
up.
the layer that filled in the track.
Yep. So at night, when dusk is starting to come down, you can see all the T-Rex, how he walked all through the tracks, because the light will illuminate and it will shadow the rest of the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see where he walked through the whole trackway.
That's pretty cool. Or he walked right up through there.
So we don't really find bones anymore here. But you get higher up in the sand rocks up there, then you'll find more bones.
Oh really? Up in the up earth?
Yep.
Any desire to open this up and see what more tracks are
Yeah,
there?
that's a lot of overburden to take off, so I don't know if we want to get that into it, but it's kind of cool. So maybe someday when they're all gone, we will have it. But we do have casts. John Hankla and my kids have been working on casts of the Zerpstei. So we have our own cast of it. So if they do go away, we still have our own cast of it. So it's kind of cool. And this is the only one in the Lance Formation of trackways.
In the what formation?
The Lance Formation, that's the formation that all of our dinosaurs are in. It's really similar to the Hell Creek Formation up in Montana. Same kind of dinosaurs. And we have the normal, everyday dinosaurs everyone knows about. The Triceratops, duckbill, T-Rex, Pachycephalosaurus, Struthiomimus, Nanotyrannosaurus, just the normal ones we all really know. But
Yeah, this is one of the coolest track systems I've seen. When we lived down in Moab, Utah, in the Red Rock Desert and stuff there along Colorado River, they have different tracks here and there, and some of them are pretty cool, but this is like incredible.
yeah, I think what I like about this is that it kind of shows that everyone can get along,
Yeah.
because you have a great big T-Rex and you have a little crocodile and a Struthiomimus and duckbill, and they're all just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it.
Cool. See what this is?
So this is a hand pump that my grandfather hand dug by himself back in the 40s.
1940s, so what, 80 years ago?
Yep. And he hand dug it, and we can look inside of it, but he went and got all this brown rock that sits on top of the dinosaurs, and he brought it in and he lined the whole inside of it. You can see in there.
Yeah.
Cutaways.
And does well.
So, and we still drink this water. And then when I was a kid, it was me and my brother's job to come up and bail it all out. We would pump it as far as we could, and then we would take ladders and put down there, and we would bucket it, all the rest of it out, and we clean the whole bottom of it out, and we Clorox the whole well, and we would drink this water.
That's cool.
So now when we have kids that come here for paleo tours, we make them sit underneath here and we baptize them with the ranch water. So it's super, super cold water, and
Pumps them up.
so when it
Don't drink it.
no, I haven't bucketed out for quite a few years. But yeah, it's still the same pump that my grandfather put on here, and my dad would pump to get water when they lived up here.
Did he have his house real close?
Yeah, the house was right on top up here, and it was there. Then they had a chicken house and a little electric plant.
On top, like right here, or way up?
Just right up there on the flat part where we came down.
Oh, just right here.
Yep, just the stuff up. And it was still intact when I was in elementary school. And then we had some seismographers that come through the country, and they decided to have lunch there and decided to see whose truck was the biggest and strongest, so they took turns pushing it in. So
Jeez.
they destroyed the whole house. So
Lame.
we had a bunch of just like extra storage of extra windows and stuff like that, and everything was destroyed. So my dad came up and dug a big hole and buried it all. So the only thing left is the hand pump and little bits of the chicken house, and then their garbage dump was the best part, because that's where we find all the cool stuff we threw away. So we find that every once in a while. We'll find a big hole of that. But this was my grandpa's second homestead. The first one was across the draw, and when he just had the two kids then, and my grandmother had a lantern going, and she accidentally caught the curtains on fire and burned the whole cabin down. And my grandfather came on his horse to help throw stuff out the windows. He had great big collections of arrowheads. He just tossed everything out the window and tried to save what he could. And for a year, they lived in a sheep herder's wagon with two little kids, and my grandma and my grandpa. And Grandpa said it was the best life because he could open the door, stoke the fire, and fix the kitchen out while laying in bed. So I can't imagine living in a sheep herder's with my two kids.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me about these.
So these are our rock piles that we've always had, and they've been here before my great-grandfather was at his place. So we're probably 130 years old, and they were here well before he was here. So they've always been here. On the north and the south, there's 4 of them. But as you turn east or west, they turn into one. So like a directional purposes, we don't really know for sure. But someone spent a whole lot of time putting them all together and making sure they were going to last for years and years and years. So the wind just blows right through the rocks. They have never been blown over. This is how they've been ever since I was a kid.
Huh. So you think they might be a Native American type thing?
Yeah, that's what we kind of think. With the teepee rings and the Black Hills, you can see them on a clear day. You can see them. So we don't know if really what they meant. We had some folks from National Geographic here, and they had seen the same kind of thing, and I think it was the Arctic. And that's what they meant down there, was the directional purposes. But there's a spring over there that my grandpa hand dug, so they didn't know if maybe it was pointing to water or what exactly.
Right over there. point. This way is
east.
straight east, and this way is straight west.
Uh-huh. And then, so there was a lot of flat houses. All built on that rock.
So she says these are the teepee stone rings. You can see the ring of stone around here.
But they had one here. They had two over there, and then a little one over here. But this is the only one left.
So two there, small one here, and then this.
And this one here, yeah.
Trying to see that circle of rock there.
When I was a kid, you could still find like ashes up here where they had burned different stuff.
Is there like a little door opening, did you say?
Over here. All these rocks that they kicked all out.
Oh yeah.
They were kind of where, I don't know what it was for, but
It's kind of cool. Perfect circle of rock there from the Native American times. Pretty awesome.
so we're at our what we call a microsite, and it technically really is not a microsite because we find big bones in here as well, but we'll see in just a second. But we found jugal, shoulder bones, and leg bones of triceratops here as well. But this area was a beach, so it wraps around the whole hill on the top, goes around all the way around. And this is where we find all of our shark teeth, stingray teeth, turtle shells, triceratops teeth, duckbill teeth, packy teeth, T-Rex teeth, guard scales, just a conglomeration of everything. We found some stuff that hasn't been found yet to any animals. We find mammal teeth here and just lots of different stuff. So the biggest thing is we just had a rain, looks like. So it should be easy picking. So if you look down here, there's gar scales.
Oh yeah, it's all
Right
shiny.
there.
So what is that?
Those are gar scales
That
from a
fish?
garfish. Yeah.
Can I pick it up?
Yep.
So that's that fish on the wood frame that I was holding. And that's the scale from the last video, part 1.
So then you'll see all through here, everything that shines is usually either dinosaur bone, tooth. There is a chip of a crocodile tooth right there. And then here's another chip of one. Looks like a gar scale. There's a vertebrae, something, a little fish. So me and my kids have contests to see who can find the best teeth. It used to be that I used to win all the time, but now that they're older and know what they're looking for, they beat me a lot. So we stay up here quite a bit.
Look for stuff.
So we find lots of shed teeth of triceratops and duckbills up here since they had so many teeth in their head. They were always falling out. We'll find little tendons, just frag bones, little pieces of crack. And like when you look for, the biggest thing is when you look for the striations, the bone marrow content in the bones. And we always tell the kids that if you don't know if it's a rock or a bone, you stick it to your tongue. If it sticks, it's a bone. If it doesn't, it's a rock. And rocks we call leverites. We just leave it right there. It's just a rock. Here's a stingray tooth. It's flat on one side. Oops. Flat on one side. It has a line right there where it's stuck up in the jaw, and that would clamp down, chomp its to food. And then we also find stuff here. It is dinosaur poop, fish poop that we find. It's kind of like a chalky substance with iron. And it's kind of cool. You break it open, it's just like a piece of chalk, and you'll find different bones and structures through it. It's kind of cool. There's a big chunk of it. You can see how chalky it is on the inside.
Is that anything? Is that a piece
It's
of
iron.
iron?
Here's some poop though. You can see how porous it is. There's a lot of people who try to make sure it still smells.
Give it a sniff.
Give it a sniff before they drop it. So in a lot of it, you just have to sit here and stare. A lot of people think that you need to dig it to find it, and we just let Mother Nature
It's just
do it.
lying there.
Yep. There's another frag bone. So frag bones are just bones that we don't know what they really are. They just are a chunk of bone.
Just a piece of something.
Yep, and it wore off. There's another vertebrae. There. I'll show you on top our paleo John Hankla, and my kids have been digging out a leg bone of a duckbill.
Oh, cool.
So they had to take a rock saw, and it's super hard matrix, still in the field. So there's a leg bone of a duckbill. When I found it, this whole rock used to be where I used to sit on as a kid when I would come up here look for bones. The great big cedar would give us shade, so we'd always sit on it. Come to find out, it was a great big bone, but right here was coming out. So they started digging and found the rest of the bone coming in. Looks to be complete. And so they came in with rock saws and cut down deep, and now they're going to have to start pedestaling it underneath to take it out.
Will they eventually chip the bone away from
Yep.
the stone?
Yep.
Away from the bone?
So what they do is they build, put the burlap on top of it to stabilize it, and then they'll take it out as a whole pod, and then they'll take it back to the lab. So then they can do it in a closed environment. So when they took Kelsey out, within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, because they needed to get it into a stable environment so the bone wouldn't deteriorate. Because Kelsey was found in just regular dirt, it wasn't in rock. So when they made the pedestals, they needed to get the bone into a nice environment so the bones wouldn't deteriorate.
Who found this?
A tour actually found the tip of the bone sticking up, and they started digging on it, and it was way too much for us to take out, so we waited till John could bring in his rock saw and start chopping it out.
And when you sat on this as a kid, was some of it exposed? Probably, or no?
No, not really. I used to dig teeth out of it, around it, because of course it's the same layer of bones, and they would all just wash down in. So I have plucked lots and lots of teeth out of it, but I never really saw it as bones. Down here we found toe bones of T-Rexes. We found frontal teeth of T-Rex, baby T-Rexes. So they're always kind of fun to find. And then right across the draw is where Elaine was taken out, the mummy. The skin on it. And they think the ones that they found in 1908 were in the same area.
It's almost camera lens.
It's a cop coat.
Oh.
But yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So here, this is just rock material that came off of it.
Off of the bone.
But you can see there were the oysters laid into it.
Yeah.
Right there. All the different stuff that laid into it. There's more. Right in there. Right in there.
Go to for Paleo Park on the internet.
You could go to paleopark.com, and we have a page set up that shows the history, what a 2-hour tour consists of, and just kind of an overview, and that has a facts page on that as well. So paleopark.com.
Cool. Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, guys.
So Paleo is PALEOPARK.com on the internet. So thanks for coming on this field trip. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.